Yeah, hello my dear students. In the previous class, that is in the offline class, we have discussed about the valency bond theory, right? Okay. So in the valency bond theory, they were explained about the few things, that is the bonding between the hydrogen and hydrogen molecule, right? Okay. But again, in that same in the valency bond theory, totally it is based on what concept? Based on the overlapping of atomic orbital, right? Okay, so that we have discussed in the offline classes, and now we can go to the online classes. In this I'm going to start the concept of overlapping of atomic orbital, right? You are seeing this overlapping of atomic orbitals, okay. But in some classes, that means for K6 class it already completed, and come to the K5 also it is completed, and come to the Pi 5, that is the Telugu medium students are there, for them it was not there a little bit, okay. So that I am just going to start from the overlapping of atomic orbitals, right? Okay. And in between that I am also use some Telugu words, because one of my class is Telugu medium, right? సో అందుకోసమని నేను కొన్ని తెలుగు వర్డ్స్ యూజ్ చేస్తాను. డోంట్ వరీ అబౌట్ దట్, ఓకే. ఇఫ్ ఎవరికైనా అర్థం కాలేదు అంటే, దట్ మీన్స్ ఇఫ్ ఎనీ వన్ నాట్ కన్ఫ్యూజ్డ్ విత్ దిస్ తెలుగు మీడియం, డోంట్ వరీ, రైట్? ఓకే, రైట్. So in the first in this lecture, just I am going to start from the overlapping of atomic orbital, that is in the valency bond theory, right? Okay. And how many types of overlapping of atomic orbitals are there? According to the valency bond theory, there are three types of overlapping of atomic orbitals are there. One is it may be a positive, or it may be a negative, or it may be a zero overlapping, okay. So that depends on different things. What is the positive overlapping, what is the negative overlapping, and what is the zero overlapping, okay. So just we can see the things, what is the positive and what is the negative, okay. So first we can see the positive overlap, right? So what is the positive overlapping? Positive overlapping is that depends on two things, okay. So just what is that? So the positive overlapping depends on two things. Whatever that positive, negative, or zero overlapping depends on two things. One is depending on the orientation, right? Depending on the orientation of atomic orbitals, okay. Whatever that overlapping depends upon two things. One is the orientation of the atomic orbital, and the second one is the sign, okay. So already I told to the all the classes, sign is nothing but it is not a charge. It is not a charge, okay. Whether it is a positive sign or the negative sign, okay. Whether it is a positive sign or negative sign, okay. So come to the positive overlapping. What is the positive overlapping? In the positive overlapping, first case is the positive overlapping. So in the positive overlapping, how the orientation should be? The orientation should be same. The orientation is same. And similarly, what is that next one? The next one is the sign, and the sign is also same, okay. So that means any two atomic orbitals, when they are overlapping, if they have a same orientation and the sign, okay, so then that kind of overlap we call it as a positive overlapping. Positive overlapping, okay. So let us see an example here, the positive overlapping here. So the first one, you see there is a pz atomic orbital and pz atomic orbital, and they are overlapping, and both are in a same orientation, right? Both are in the parallel, okay. And the sign is also, see here, minus plus minus, okay. So plus they are positive sign, and positive sign they are overlapping, okay. So this is nothing but the positive overlapping, right? Similarly, you can see the pz overlapping with the s orbital, okay, plus and plus. And here is also same thing, the px and px overlapping, right? So px of one atomic orbital is always with the same orientation with the px orbital of the another atom. Okay, and how they are overlapping? They are overlapping with the same sign. Okay, so that you can also call it as it is a positive phase overlap. Similarly, py. So they are overlapping with the positive same sign, so that you can call it as a positive overlap. Okay, similarly, what is the next one? The next one is a negative overlap. Okay, so come to the negative overlapping. What are the conditions? The negative overlapping, the conditions are same again. The orientation and the second one is sign, both plays the role, right? Okay, so in the orientation here again it is same, but come to the sign, that should not be same, that means that is different, okay. So that means the positive sign overlap with the negative sign, positive sign overlap with the negative signs. Okay, so let us see one example here, that the negative overlapping. So that also you can call it as out of phase overlapping. The first one, pz and pz. Okay, so pz and they are overlapping, and you see that orientation first, both are same, right? Okay, but come to the sign, you see here it is a positive and here it is a negative. So positive lobe overlapping with the negative lobe of the another atom, so that you can call it as it is a negative overlapping, okay. So you see the same example here, px overlapping with the s, but the sign is minus and a plus, so that again it is a negative overlapping. And here it is again px is overlapping with the same orientation, but the signs are different. And similarly py overlapping, and the orientation is same, but the signs are different. Okay, right. So next, coming to the third overlapping, that is a zero overlapping. Okay, so then for zero overlapping, what are the conditions? The conditions are very simple, and come to the how many factors are there? Two factors, right? One is the orientation, another one is the sign. Okay, so in the zero overlapping, the first factor, orientation, it plays the major role. Okay, so in the earlier case the orientation is same, but not here. Here it is a different orientation, the orientation is different. And the second one is a sign. So here neglected, the sign is neglected, because whatever the sign, whether it is a positive overlapping or a negative overlapping, whatever it is, we are not going to be worried. Only the thing we are going to focus is that is the orientation. Okay, so in the earlier cases the orientations are same, but come to here zero overlapping, the orientation should be different. Okay, so now we can see the example here. The examples are, see here, the px overlapping with the s orbital. You know that the s orbital is a spherical in shape, and px, it is a exactly perpendicular to the internuclear axis. Okay, already I told you that what is the internuclear axis. Okay, so how they are overlapping? Here it is a perpendicular to the internuclear axis, but it is a parallel s. So how they can overlap? They cannot overlap, right? Okay, similarly px and py, you know that px and py both are in a perpendicular in nature. Okay, so when they are perpendicular in nature, will they overlap each other? Avvu kada avi overlap avvu. Okay, so అందువల్ల ఏంటి, this is a type of zero overlapping. Okay, in generally in the bond formation, the bond can be formed in the positive as well as in the negative overlapping. But when you come to the zero overlapping, the bond may not be formed. Okay, bond anedi form avvakapovachu, because here there is no overlapping of atomic orbitals. Okay, right. So come to the next point, the types of covalent bonds. Okay, so you know that how many types of covalent bonds are there generally when you see the examples, like anything, methane, ethane, or anything. So generally you will observe two kinds of bonds, that is a one sigma bond, another one is a pi bond. Okay, so you know that those are the sigma bond as well as the pi bond. Okay, so now we can see that what is the sigma bond and what is the pi bond, right? Okay, so you know what is the sigma bond, but how it can form is that very simple. A sigma bond is formed by the end-on-end overlap of atomic orbitals along the internuclear axis. axis. Okay, so that means there are two atomic orbitals, they can overlap along the internuclear axis. That is very simple, along the internuclear axis. Okay, so now we can see that how many types like that kind of overlapping. Okay, so మరి ఎన్ని రకాల ఓవర్లాప్స్ అనేది మనం చూడగలుగుతాం ఇంటర్న్యూక్లియర్ యాక్సిస్ ఆధారంగా ఇంటర్న్యూక్లియస్ యాక్సిస్ పైన ఎన్ని రకాల ఓవర్లాప్స్ ని మనం చూడగలుగుతాం. ఓకే, సో ఇన్ దట్ ద ఫస్ట్ వన్ ఈజ్ ద SS overlapping. SS is nothing but S is the S orbital, again another S atomic orbital. That means S atomic orbital overlapping with the another S atomic orbital. Okay, so how they can overlap, you know that generally the S orbital is a spherical in shape and the another atomic orbital is again spherical in shape, and both are spherical, and when they are easily overlap along the internuclear axis. Again, don't confuse what is the internuclear axis. It is very simple. If this is the S orbital and this is another S orbital, right, and this is a nucleus of one atom, right, suppose you assume it is a A and it is a B and this is a nucleus of the another atom. Okay, so how they are overlapping, how they are approaching, ఎలా వస్తున్నాయి అవి అప్రోచ్ అవ్వడానికి. సో ఇది ఇటువైపు వస్తుంది, ఇది ఇటువైపు వస్తుంది, అవునా కదా. సో దట్ మీన్స్ దే ఆర్ కమింగ్ ఇన్ ఎ పర్టికులర్ యాక్సిస్. వాట్ ఈస్ దట్ యాక్సిస్? దిస్ ఈస్ ద axis, right? Okay, so in this axis they are approaching, right? So that is the reason why these axis you call it as a internuclear axis. That means this axis is passing through the nucleuses of two atoms. Okay, so ee rendu nucleus gunda adi veltundi annamata. So that is the reason why we call it as a internuclear axis. Okay, right, very good. And now you see here similarly, like SS overlapping, the sigma bond can also form in the sp overlapping. That means S orbital overlapping with the p orbital. Okay, so how they can overlap, you know that it is a S orbital and this is a p orbital. Okay, so generally here the p orbital is a pz orbital, because when you consider the pz is a internuclear axis. Okay, so the S orbital can overlap with the p orbital and form a type of a bond. Okay, and while forming that, you know that according to the VBT the electrons should be opposite. The electrons in the both orbital should be opposite. Ante kada, electrons eppudu kuda opposite spin tho undali. Okay, so then it gives the sp overlapping. Okay, so now we can see the another type of overlapping that gives the sigma bond formation. Okay, so what is that? That is the pp overlapping. That means p orbital overlap with the another p orbital. Majorly this is the pz orbital and this is also a pz orbital. Okay, and both can overlap like this. Okay, and gives the pp overlapping, and that resulting bond is nothing but a sigma bond. Okay, because both again it is the bond is forming along the internuclear axis. Okay, so these are the three types of overlapping that gives the sigma bond formation. Okay, right, the first one is SS overlapping, and the second one is SS overlapping, second one is the SP overlapping, third one is the PP overlapping. Okay, now we can see that the next is the pi bond. Next one is pi bond. Okay, so how a pi bond can form is that very simple. A pi bond is formed by the atomic orbitals overlap in such a way that their axes remain parallel to each other but perpendicular to the internuclear axis. Okay, so that means again here it is same. A sigma bond can be formed by the overlapping of atomic orbitals, and while overlapping the atomic orbitals, you assume that this is a one atomic orbital, this is another atomic orbital, and while overlapping their orientations are same. Okay, అలా ఓవర్లాప్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు వాటి యొక్క ఓరియంటేషన్స్ అనేటివి సేమ్ ఉండాలి, రైట్. సో దట్ మీన్స్ యూ సీ హియర్ దిస్ ఇస్ ద this is orientation, right, it is a, and both are in a same direction, right. Okay, and but they are or they should be perpendicular to the internuclear axis. What is the internuclear axis? Here is the internuclear axis, and these two are perpendicular to the internuclear axis. Okay, and that kind of overlapping gives the pi bond formation. Pi bond formation. Okay, so these two overlapping and gives some kind of a bond, and that bond is nothing but a pi bond. Pi bond. Okay, right. So now we have seen sigma bond formation as well as the pi bond formation. అవునా కదా, సిగ్మా బాండ్ అయిపోయింది, నెక్స్ట్ పై బాండ్ కూడా అయిపోయింది. సో ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏం చూద్దాం, నెక్స్ట్ ఈజ్ ద స్ట్రెంగ్త్ ఆఫ్ సిగ్మా అండ్ పై బాండ్ స్ట్రెంగ్త్. ఓకే, సో మరి స్ట్రెంగ్త్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది సిగ్మా బాండ్ అండ్ పై బాండ్? సో జనరల్లీ యూ నో దట్ బేసికలీ ద స్ట్రెంగ్త్ ఆఫ్ sigma bond, okay, or a bond depends upon the extent of overlapping. Okay, so that means you know that whatever the bond, it is a cause of overlapping of atomic orbitals. అవునా కదా, సో ఎంత ఎక్స్టెంట్ ఆర్బిటాల్స్ కనుక ఓవర్లాప్ అయితే, ఎంత స్ట్రాంగ్గా అవి కనుక ఓవర్లాప్ అయితే ఆ బాండ్ అనేది అంత స్ట్రాంగ్గా ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, సో లైక్ దట్ generally the overlapping in the sigma bond formation takes place the larger extent. Okay, that means in the sigma bond formation the two atomic orbitals overlap with the maximum attractions. Okay, and come to the pi bond, so compared to the what I said, generally in the sigma bond formation the atomic orbitals overlapping is little bit maximum, so that means these are strong. Okay, so that is the reason why generally the sigma bond is stronger as compared to the pi bonds, okay. So where in the pi bond the extent of overlapping is smaller. Okay, so that is the reason why generally the sigma bonds are stronger than the pi bonds. Okay, right. And you know that there is a one point, that is in any compound the in between the two atoms when the bond forms, so there can be only one sigma bond between two atoms, but there will be one or more pi bonds. Okay, so that means ఒక రెండు ఆటమ్స్ మధ్య ఏవైనా బాండ్స్ ఏర్పడినప్పుడు వాటి మధ్య దెర్ ఇస్ ఓన్లీ వన్ ఛాన్స్ ఒకే ఒక సిగ్మా బాండ్ ఏర్పడుతుంది, అండ్ మిగతావన్నీ కూడా పై బాండ్స్ అయ్యే ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. ఓకే, సో యూ సీ ద ఎగ్జాంపుల్ సి సింగిల్ బాండ్ సి డబుల్ బాండ్ సి ట్రిపుల్ బాండ్ సి. ఓకే, సో ఇన్ బోత్ ద కేసెస్ యూ సీ the first C single bond C, this must be a sigma bond. Okay, and come to the second one, here in this only one should be a sigma bond. ఒకటే సిగ్మా బాండ్ ఉంటుంది, ఇంకా అంతకు మించి ఎక్కువ సిగ్మా బాండ్స్ రెండు ఆటమ్స్ మధ్య ఫామ్ అవడానికి ఛాన్స్ లేదు. ఓకే, అండ్ ద అదర్ వన్ ఈజ్ అ పై బాండ్, అనదర్ వన్ ఈజ్ పై బాండ్. ఓకే, సో కమ్ టు హియర్ సి ట్రిపుల్ బాండ్ సి, అగైన్ ఇక్కడ 3 బాండ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఇన్ దిస్ 3 బాండ్స్ ఓన్లీ వన్ షుడ్ బి ద sigma bond, only one should be the sigma bond, and remaining 2 are the pi bonds. Okay, so that means in between two atoms there is only one chance of formation of sigma bond, but there may be a more than one or more pi bonds formation between two atoms. Okay, now right, this is the simple valency bond theory. Okay, so during that explanation already I told you valency bond theory అనేది it depends upon the overlapping of atomic orbitals అని చెప్పాను. Okay, and electronic configuration, similarly it also includes hybridization concept, new hybridization concept. Okay, so generally the hybridization ఏదైతే ఉందో అక్కడ, సో hybridization అనేది it is nothing but a modification of simple valence bond theory. Okay, you see here చెప్పాను మీకు ఇంతకుముందు వ్యాలెన్సీ బాండ్ థియరీ దగ్గర చెప్పాను. సో VBT is based on the knowledge of atomic orbitals, electronic configuration of elements, the overlapping criteria of atomic orbitals, and along with that the hybridization of atomic orbitals. Okay, but up to here simply you can say that it is a simple VBT theory, and then after that it is developed or modified by the Pauling and Slater. So Pauling and Slater ఏం చేశారంటే they modified the simple VBT theory by introducing the hybridization of atomic orbital concept. Okay, so వాళ్ళు hybridization అనే కొత్త కాన్సెప్ట్ని ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేసి దీన్ని మాడిఫై చేశారు, రైట్? మరి ఎందుకు మాడిఫై చేయాల్సి వచ్చింది అసలుకి VBT థియరీని? ఓకే, సో వై దే హ్యావ్ మాడిఫైడ్ దిస్ simple VBT theory? Okay, so what they said simply, generally in the VBT theory a bond can be formed by the overlapping of two atomic orbitals, right? Okay, so that means okay, s orbital inkoka s orbital to ganaka overlap aithe it gives the bond formation. Now okay, so oka p orbital if it is combined with the another p orbital it gives the a bond formation, a bond formation. Okay, that means very simple, right? So with this concept he explained maximum of two different kind of molecule, that is the specially explained about the diatomic molecules. He whatever the simple VBT theory explained the bonding formation as well as the geometry of the simple diatomic molecules, like what are the example? Hydrogen, oxygen, like hydrogen chloride and some nitrogen. Okay, like this. So these examples they are explained. Okay, but when you come to the polyatomic molecule, polyatomic, poly means more than two atoms, more than two atoms. Okay, diatomic means two atoms are there. So polyatomic molecules means more than two atoms. Okay, molecules like when you go to the ammonia and methane or like H2O. So for these molecules the simple VBT theory cannot explain the bonding formation as well as the geometry, okay. So how they failed? Okay, now we can see that enduku maradi fail ayindi, simple VBT theory enduku fail ayindi. సో దాని వల్ల ఎందుకు కొత్త కాన్సెప్ట్ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేయాల్సి వచ్చింది? దట్ ఈస్ ద హైబ్రిడైజేషన్. కొత్త కాన్సెప్ట్ని ఎందుకు ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేయాల్సి వచ్చింది? ఓకే, ఓకే. సో నౌ వీ కెన్ సీ ద మాలిక్యూల్స్ అకార్డింగ్ టు ద simple VBT theory. Why the simple VBT theory failed to explain the structure of the methane? Okay, so you know that VBT theory explained the structures of the hydrogen, right? Like hydrogen chloride, right? So hydrogen s orbital overlap with the p orbital of the chlorine, okay, so that it forms the HCl molecule. Okay, but come to the methane molecule, it failed to explain the geometries as well as the bonding in the methane. Okay, so why it is failed is that very simple. You see that in the methane, you know that what is the central atom? The central atom is the carbon, and what is the electronic configuration? That is 1s2 2s2 2p2. Okay, so that is in the ground state, 2s2 2p2, valence shell. This is the valence shell. And coming to the excited state, you know that one of the s electron will shifted into the p orbital and it gives the 2s1 2p3, 2s1 2p3. Okay, so now you have 4 half filled atomic orbital. Okay, so that means 1 s orbital is there, 3 p orbitals is there. Okay, so that means these 4 orbitals are now ready to overlap. They are ready to overlap with what? Overlap with the 4 hydrogens. Okay, that means 4 hydrogens of what? Generally in the hydrogen electronic configuration 1s1. Okay, so that means 4 hydrogens of s orbitals, right? Okay, so that means these 2s orbital and 2p orbitals are overlap with the hydrogens s orbitals. Okay, so how they can overlap? Very simple. You see, so how many of 3 p orbitals are there? 1 s orbital is there. Okay, so let us see first 3 p orbitals. Let us forget about the 1 s orbital, sorry, whatever the 2 s orbital. Okay, so, sorry, 1 s orbital and 3 p orbitals, right? Okay, so you know that whatever the p orbitals, what is the geometry? Generally the p orbitals are, if one is in the px, you assume it is the px, and another one should be the perpendicular to that you assume it as a pz, and another one is in the another perpendicular direction. Okay, this is the py. You know that px, py and pz, these are exactly perpendicular to each other, right? Okay, so that means each px contains one electron, py contains one electron and pz contains one electron, right? Okay, so you assume it is a px and py and pz. Okay, so each one has a one electron, right? And now come to that, these three p orbitals overlap with the three hydrogens of s atomic orbital. This is belongs to the hydrogen and this is belong to the carbon. Okay, so how they can approach? They can approach like this, right? Okay, so they can these orbitals will come and overlap with the px. So it is a px and that overlap like this, and similarly pz overlap like this, and similarly py can also overlap like this. Okay, so this is nothing but a sigma bond, and it is also nothing but a sigma bond, and it is also nothing but a sigma bond. Okay, but come to the bond formation is okay, but you see the geometry. So here it is a one sigma bond formation, and there is a one sigma bond formation here and one sigma bond formation here. Okay, so that means one is along the z direction, one is along the y direction, one is along the x direction. Okay, so that means there are three bonds, sigma bonds. Just I am writing, one is like this, one is like this, and one other one is like this. Okay, right? So you see, you know that, but what is the bond angles between these? You know, generally the x, y, z both are, all are in a perpendicular to each other. That means in each case it has a 90 degrees. In each case it is 90 degrees, right? In between x and z, and similarly x and y it is 90 degrees, and y and z it is 90 degrees. Okay, so that means the bond angle according to the simple VBT, the bond angle between carbon hydrogen bonds, carbon, right? Okay, this is the carbon and this is the hydrogen. So carbon hydrogen bonds is 90 degrees. But is it true? According to the experimental, is it true? No, right? So according to the experimental, the bond angle between in the methane is 109 degrees, 109 degrees, right? 109.5 degrees, 109.5 degrees, right? Okay, this is the experimentally. But according to the simple VBT theory, what is the bond angle? The bond angle should be 90 degrees. Okay, so that means it is wrong, right? It is wrong. So according to the simple VBT theory, it is wrong. That means they are unable to explain the geometries or the bondings in the molecules like methane, and similarly like ammonia and water. Okay, because even in the ammonia also same thing, the central atom is a nitrogen, and what is the electronic configuration? 1s2, 2s2, 2p3, right? Okay, so that means you have a 3 hydrogens here. So valency state is this one, and it is a 2s2 and 2p3. Okay, so that means there are 3 p orbitals again ready to overlap. Okay, and you know that these 3 p orbitals again, how they are exactly perpendicular to each other. Okay, so that means the bond angle again should be here, it is a 90 degrees. But what is the bond angle in the real ammonia? The real ammonia bond angle is not the 90 degrees, it is around 107 point something. Okay, so that means this is experimentally it is wrong. So that the simple VBT theory is failed to explain the geometries of methane and ammonia and all these things. Okay, so this is the drawback, right? Okay, so this is the topic where now I covered in this lecture, and in the next lecture I am going to start the hybridization. Okay, so because of these drawbacks of the simple VBT theory, they have modified this VBT theory and how they modified, they introduced a new concept, that is the hybridization concept. Okay, so ala hybridization concept introduce చేసిన తర్వాత they are clearly explain the geometries of all the polyatomic molecules. Okay, so that we can see in the next class, right? Okay, until then, bye.